Hey, how's everybody doing today? Tribes and collective. Hopefully, all is well. I'm back with another one. I know last transmission I said I was going to do the Iroquois creation story, but since then I had a calling to be somewhere, so I thought I'd share that experience with you guys. We'll eventually get back to the Iroquois story. So today's lecture is going to be kind of brief. Hopefully everyone got their trip slips signed. Tongue twister. Just to let y'all know, sometimes the schedule might change from time to time due to sudden callings. We'll start off with the reading out of the Grid Keeper's book. Like last transmission. Yeah. Then a short lecture on how to harness cosmic energy to heal Earth's crystalline grid. Then the field trip. All right, here we go. All right, I'm going into chapter 3 of the book, Distorted Lines and Energetic Anomalies, What Grid Keepers Must Know. Not all grid lines flow in harmony. Not all vortexes heal. As Earth's consciousness rises, so do the distortions once buried beneath cities, trauma fields, and historical sites. These distortions surface because the planetary field is no longer willing to hide them. They are the wounds of the Earth carried across centuries, waiting for those who can stand present without fear. Grid keepers are not just here to work with light. They are often stationed in areas where the energy is fractured, inverted, congested, or diseased. These anomalies are not evil. They are imbalanced, overcharged, or clouded by centuries of unconscious use, pollution, or manipulation. To understand the distorted lines is to recognize the full scope of grid work. To pretend they don't exist is to remain unprepared. Well, how to harness cosmic energy. You could take a crystal such as this, place it on top of the earth, right here on the surface where you're going to be grounding at. That will help amplify the energy you send to the grid through grounding. Helping to send solar electrons into the earth with positive intentions, thus healing Earth's energies. Afterwards, you can remove your crystal or leave it. You can leave it and bury it, or you can replace it. Retrieve your crystal and replace it with a stone such as this that has been blessed, and go ahead and bury it right there. We'll be using this board drawing here for future lectures, such as weather manipulation and other things. Okay, to the field trip. All right. The video I'm going to show you is going to be our destination. Then the field trip will start immediately after. Buckle up and enjoy.
There's an old expression concerning how oil and water don't mix. On one winter afternoon in 1963, residents of Los Angeles found that old expression acquired new meaning. On that day, oil wells played a surprising part in an engineering failure involving oil exploration, earthquake fault lines, and a giant public works project with a tiny hidden flaw. A flaw that forced a crack in a reservoir to become a crevasse and unleash the fury of millions of gallons of water.
And right here now, as we come up over the Baldwin Hills Reservoir, you can see the water. It's unbelievable as this water and mud rushes down Cloverdale, engulfing everything in its path.
In 1951, when it was built in Los Angeles, The Baldwin Hills Dam was hailed as a $10 million state-of-the-art engineering masterwork. It was a 19-acre reservoir that supplied drinking water for tens of thousands of residents. The dam's hidden flaws became apparent at 3:38 p.m. on December 14, 1963.
We can see the main break in the reservoir itself.
At that hour, the lining, a thin asphalt barrier that separated the bottom of the reservoir from the earth below, cracked apart.
The designers relied far too much on the quarter-inch fiber-reinforced asphalt layer at the base of the liner system. You have to understand that it was assumed in the design, and it was absolutely essential to the stability of the reservoir that no water get into the foundation.
Water in the foundation caused the bottom of the dam to erode away, and authorities were concerned that the compromised reservoir would flood a nearby residential neighborhood.
And there you can see the large hole on the inside of the Baldwin Hills Reservoir.
KTLA Channel 5 was one of the first to have news coverage of the event. And they filmed this Baldwin Hills Reservoir event. And the event showed them trying to block off the small hole in the abutment with the sandbags. Showed personnel working in the area. Showed probably people trying to drain the system.
It's going out probably through 75 feet of earth fill.
As police were called in to evacuate the area, word got out there was trouble at the dam.
I remember it being a Saturday morning. I was in my room. I was 17 years old. And I remember hearing a news report on television in the living room that there was a problem with the Baldwin Hills Dam.
Richard Levine was a student photographer about to document his first big story. Grabbing his camera and a few rolls of film, he raced to the scene.
When I got down there, it was absolutely amazing. It was the most chilling sight I'd ever seen. I mean, to this day, I still think about it. Chills go down my spine.
To the horror of the city workers gathered at the site, in about an hour, the rushing water eroded the dam's concrete abutment from below, turning a pencil-thin crack into a 75-foot wide gash. When the abutment crumbled, 292 million gallons of water surged out of the reservoir.
A large chunk of the inner cement here in the...
This water was tumbling and rushing and boiling and just washing homes out.
There's a picture. You can see those automobiles literally being pushed back, then went over the top.
It reminded me of the Great Gorge of the Colorado River. And a shot, well, eventually ran out of film.
When it was over, 65 homes in the path of the flood were ripped apart. Hundreds of other structures were damaged, and 5 people lay dead.
I hadn't even seen the worst part, because I was up at the top of the dam when it washed out those homes. They were just gone. There were just foundations left. Just wiped them out.
City workers drained the rest of the water from the dam, and homeowners were left to sort through the wreckage. Engineers went back to the original plans to learn what caused the lining to fail, fatally compromising the dam. They discovered that the failure could be blamed not only on how the dam was designed, but also the location where it was built. The Baldwin Hills Dam was constructed 400 feet from a large fault line. Smaller secondary faults ran beneath the dam. If any of the faults were to shift, the lining was intended to flex with their movement. In this way, the integrity of the dam would be maintained. But that's not what happened on December 14th. This puzzled investigators because they knew the dam was built with the existing fault lines in mind.
The designers attempted to deal with this, although they vastly underestimated the magnitude of the movements that would occur across these faults in the operational life of the reservoir. They realized the faults were there, but they underestimated how much movement would occur across the faults.
The lining was made by putting down a layer of gravel. followed by a quarter-inch thick layer of asphalt reinforced with cotton fiber. But when the faults moved, this material proved to be less flexible than designers may have wished, and it failed. Underestimating the potential for fault movement was a fatal error. But what had caused the faults to move more than the designer expected? Investigators determined that other hidden factors were at play.
This bowl, the Baldwin Hills Reservoir site, is on the eastern edge of the Inglewood oil field. Inglewood oil field is probably about a square mile in area or more, and it has about over 600 wells at one time.
Pumping oil near the dam might have caused the land to become unstable, and thus stimulate fault movement. But the oil companies were also using a method of oil extraction that raised a red flag. The method was called pressurized extraction.
The process is to eject water under high pressure and to cause that water and oil to push towards the active wells.
The pressure extraction process involves pumping millions of gallons of water at high pressure beneath an oil field, which forces the oil toward the surface, where it is easier to pump out. The extraction method apparently had built up great below-ground pressure.
So I did go out to one of the repressurizing wells, which was south of this site, and looked at the gauge on the well itself, and it registered 600 pounds per square inch. And that was on top of the ground, and the well was either 1,000 or 2,000 feet deep. So you can imagine the pressure that was being exerted on the ground, which eventually caused a separation of the bottom here.
All right, starting off with the Crenshaw tour, right here on 11th Ave and 60th. Right there is Crenshaw. Right here, as you can see, spiraling trees. Move right along. Got a power pole here that they cut up at a distribution station. Right. I used to regular this place also. Just the inside. People in there working, stealing more power off the grid. Right. Go right along. All right. Department of Water and Power, City of Los Angeles, station number 18. It's a distribution station. Moving right along. Right. Right here is where I had to raise the power lines. As you can see, shortens here. Here we got a much taller pole, even across the street. Reason being, Space Shuttle Endeavour had to come through here, and we had to raise the power lines to get it to the Exposition Museum. So I'm on the corner of 60th and Crenshaw. Right over here used to be some duplexes where those large apartment buildings are. I used to live there. Church here. Address over there is 6109 Crenshaw Boulevard. All right. Now, Got some grounding to do. Well, before that, let me show you the top of this distribution station. A 4.8 feeder coming out of there. Wish I could get to one of these rocks over here where these trees are swirling at. See that? Well, fire hydrants are always good. So I'm going to ground right there. All right. We're at the corner of Crenshaw and Sloss. And Crenshaw and 6. Get the fat burger. Rail tracks.
I wonder which try it.
All right, making our way around. Just checking out the scenery, seeing what's going on around before we get to our main destination. All right. Corner of Crenshaw and Slauson, Crenshaw District. All right, moving right along. Y'all with me? All right. Hey, what's going on with you, man? How you feel? Here at the marathon here, Nipsey spot. Rest his soul. Know he's doing well on the other side. Yeah. All right, the marathon continues. The most beautiful, ancient setup of trees I've ever seen. We'll walk it out. Beautiful. You know how much energy is in here? I wish you guys could feel it. It's powerful. Feel like I jumped the timeline just walking through here. Look at that. Shed some light on the situation. Right across the way. Got some palms over there. Hey, how you doing? Right over there is my high school. We'll go over there next. Crenshaw High School. It's at least my first high school. I didn't graduate from there. I did my 10th grade year there. One of my old alma maters. We'll walk this one out. Alright, here we go. Alright, we're in front of the high school on 11th Ave. and 50th Street. There we go. Let's make a walk over there. I'm doing a little tour here. I remember crossing this street many a days. Yeah. Crenshaw Cougars. Once I left here and got bussed out to the valley, became a Kennedy Cougar. All right. Right here we have an old Pac Bell building, corner of 11th Ave and Vernon. Address is 3233 West Vernon. All right. This place is no longer in function. It's been out of service since the mid 80s. Since after they converted from the old telephone system to fiber optics. This was null and void. I'm going to be heading over to Lemert Park. It's right over here. I'll give a brief rundown once I get over there, and we'll continue from there. Right, everybody, welcome to Lemert Park. Corner of the triad, triangles everywhere. Alright, oh, I was still recording. There we go. Let's go inside. All right, a little history on Lemert Park. Lemert Park, Signet, on Lemert Boulevard, immediately north of Vernon Avenue. Location within South Los Angeles, coordinates 34 degrees, 45 inches north. 118 degrees, 19 feet, 34 inches west. Leimert Park is named for its developer, Walter H. Leimert, who began the subdivision business center project in 1928. The master plan was designed by the Olmsted Brothers Company, which was managed by the sons of Frederick Law Olmsted, 1822 through 1903. The landscape designer best known for Central Park in New York City. Elderly Japanese American residents still live in the area, and some of the Japanese gardens still exist. The Crenshaw Square Shopping Center was inspired and designed in the style of Japanese architecture. The center was a hub of retailing in the mid-1950s. In 2013 and 2014, resurgent homes prices in South Los Angeles spurred much interest among many young professionals into moving into Leimert Park, among other areas within the region. Observers took note with mixed feelings, fears of gentrification, and hope for increased business investment. The trend continued with 2021 seeing a jump in house prices. All right, on this side of Leimert Park, we have the Leimert Park Village. We'll go through the village right after I do a quick pan across. Got people giving out goods here. It's a blessing right there. See, there's people taking care of each other. Isn't that beautiful? All right. All right, a little on Leimert Park Village. Leimert Park Village. The core of Leimert Park is Leimert Park Village, which consists of Leimert Park Plaza, 2 blocks of 43rd Street, and 1 block of Degnan Boulevard. Leimert Park Village has historically served as a hub of African American art and culture in Los Angeles. Has been compared to both Harlem and Greenwich Village, and in 1998 was seen as the cultural heartbeat of Black Los Angeles. Leimert Park Plaza Park, was designed by the Olmsted Brothers to serve as a public hub of the master plan community. The park has been a go-to community space for the African American community since the 1980s, hosting arts and drum circle annual celebrations, rallies, protests, and memorials. The village has blues and jazz, nightclubs, theaters for musicians, dramatic performances, award ceremonies, comedy specials, and poetry readings, and venues for hip-hop. The intersection of 43rd Street and Degnan Boulevard was dedicated as Barbara Morrison Square on the anniversary of her birth, September 10th, 2022. Project Blowed is the longest running hip-hop open mic in the world. Started in 1994 by rapper Esielon and friends. It is hosted by Chaos Network and held every Thursday night at 43rd Place and Leimert Boulevard. Vision Theater. April 21st, 2019 marked the 87th anniversary of the opening of the Vision Theater, initially named the Leimert. This Mediterranean revival-style theater is at the south end of Leimert Park Village at 3341 West 43rd Place and Degnan Avenue. It was designed in 1931 by the architectural firm Morgan Walls and Clements and opened as a movie theater on April 21st, 1932. In 1977, the theater came under the ownership of the Jehovah's Witnesses, known as the Assembly Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses. Actress Marla Gibbs bought the theater in 1990 and renamed it the Vision Theater, intending to make it a venue for African American movies, live theater, and dance productions. In 1992, the Los Angeles civil unrest and an economic recession hit the area hard, and the property fell into foreclosure. The City of Los Angeles acquired the theater in 1999. The Department of Cultural Affairs manages the theater with the goal of providing a performing arts venue for professional performing arts presentations, a training center for talent reflective of South Los Angeles, and a venue for the production and presentation of world-class theater, music, and dance performances. Let's walk a little bit of the plaza. Much more crowded than this on the weekends. I caught them in the middle of the week, but I was called to go somewhere, so I just thought I'd give you guys little sights what goes on in LA from time to time. All right, I will go down to my middle school, but that'll be on another trip. It's right down the street. I got somewhere I have to be. All right. Keep it pushing. All right, this is the other side of the plaza on Degnan Boulevard. Degnan Boulevard turns into 11th Avenue. So it's basically the same street. 43rd Street. Let's walk across. Mighty pass it through. Fulham's. All right. We got a good sign. Just let me know I'm headed on the right path. on Crenshaw and Martin Luther King Boulevard. Another Department of Water and Power, as you can see, sits in between those two spiral trees right there. This portal right there, and directly behind that is a distribution station. We'll go back there and take a look. I found a good grounding place too, right over there. Let's walk up to it. Playing Frogger out here. Right here. It's on the way out. First, let's go take a look at this distribution station. It's all enclosed. Can't really see too much. But yeah. It's about the size of it. Alright, we're going to enter Baldwin Hills. It's Baldwin Hill Crenshaw Mall. We're going to go through there. We're on Martin Luther King and Crenshaw Boulevard. We're at the corner of Martin Luther King and Buckingham Road. About to go into the jungles. I'll tell you why they call it the jungles once we get inside. Alright, we're now entering the jungles. Alright, the reason why they call this place the jungles is because in the 1960s, the place where we're going that flooded this area here. This is the lower region of that. You see? And all the trees grew up so high and they all got together. So they just started calling this place a jungle. Alright, we're about to go to the top of the hill. Right there's the Baldwin Hills Mall. Baldwin Hills Mountains. We're going to go all the way to the top up there. Alright, see you at the top. Or actually, see you at the bottom, at the base. Alright, we made it to the top. We're here at the Gardner Hahn Bridge. You guys read over that if you want. Yeah. Kenneth Hahn Park. And we're going to go inside and go to our destination. Alright, we're here inside the park. That's the entrance. Coming around. It's just the entrance here. Right back there is a waterfall. Remnants from the dam break. All right, moving right along. Down there's the bottom. Make it to the top. Ways to go. Yep. While I'm here, I had to take on some nature. So those oil pumps over there, that's what caused the dam to break. All right, moving right along. Isn't that beautiful? Nature at its finest. Look straight ahead. It's a pathway. See that pathway? Looks like enlightenment on the other side. Stones at the base here. From the dam break. It's a beautiful thing. Nature came into play. Let's get the ducks. Hey, ducks. All right, we're almost there. Get to the top of this mountain right here. We'll be there. It's like going up Serpent Mountain or Serpent Hill. Almost there. A little bit better view before we make it to the top. I'm talking about, you know. All right, you guys, made it up here for sundown. And as you can see, our location is right down there. This is where the dam once was. Okay, this is where it breached and flooded. Right along that area down there at the bottom, that ridge. Maybe when I get closer, I could get a better view. But for now, I'm go down there, see you down there, do my work, and get back to you. All right. You know what? You guys walk down with me. You better enjoy the scenery as we go down. What a beautiful day. Go right in the middle. Hydroscape products. You think something's here? Oh, I do. See that tree there? See that tree there? It's the middle. Tree there. All right. Oh, I see a bird right on it. All right, I'm headed there. See that bird? Marks the spot right in between those two trees. See that? Follow the bird, they're messengers. There's one bird there, one bird there. Hey birds, it's a beautiful bird. Hey bird, ooh, look at that beautiful bird. Oh my, this is where it's at. In between that bird, that beautiful bird, and that beautiful bird is this mound here. Right in between those trees. All right, I'll get back to you. Gotta give the earth some love. right, we're done here. Let's get our pyramid up. And we'll leave a rock. We blessed this rock here, so we'll leave that in the earth. And take the pyramid. Pyramid acted as an amplifier for grounding. And I'll explain that later. It just caught sunlight. Beautiful. All right, we're still at the top of Kenneth Hahn. On a good clear day, you can see all of Los Angeles and all the mountains. Yep, on a good clear day. I'll come back on a clear day. And then right behind me, let me swing around. Let me walk over there. Show you what we got over here. Right over here we got the Pacific Ocean. All right. Swing this way, you could see the top of LAX. On a good clear day, you can see all of that. I'll come back. Oh, I can still feel the vibration. Still feel that vibration. Feels good. From that grounding. Mother Earth, Daughter Earth is happy. Alright. I think I found me a nice spot to meditate. Look at that mountain right there. Looking out over the city. We got a full moon here. And directly behind me, we got the sun out. And this is a portal right here. Same as down at the bottom of the dam, at the base of the dam. Same setup. See that? Yeah, I think I'll go to this mountain right here and do some meditation. It's beautiful. See that? When I meditate, put my foot to the ground, should I say my feet? I want to try to send love, which I am going to send love, throughout the ley lines, which are interconnected throughout Earth, throughout its grid. Sending love out. All right. Time to go home. 3 trees for the tribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the lecture and field trip. We'll do this again next transmission. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Like I said before, the information and knowledge is free. But if you'd like to support the channel, my Cash App is $ lowercase CTEEZ11. All right, on that note, I'm out of here. 1.